Hey gang, when Nintendo Canada emailed me with the opportunity to jump in and check out Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I couldn't resist. Now, let me preface this review by saying it has been a long time since I played a Zelda game. Okay? The last one I played was Skyward Sword on the Wii U, or the Wii, or whichever one it was. I can't remember now. It's been that long. I never got to play Breath of the Wild, although a whole slew of my streaming friends streamed it, and I've watched them play hours upon hours and hours of it and seen pretty near every aspect of that game, and I had thoughts then. Going into this foray into Tears of the Kingdom, having already seen footage from friends playing it, and then getting hands-on myself, which I've been working on my playthrough, uh, you can my you can see here on my YouTube channel. Tripping over my words, it's fine. But I've reached a point where I'm comfortable in giving a spoiler-free review of the game because I don't want to spoil the story for anyone in the course of review. I might do it in my Let's Play as I continue through the game on my own time, but for purposes of review, there's a story, it picks up, it gets weird, and I absolutely adore it. There's something about The Legend of Zelda and the games that obviously have endured all this time since the NES, which I played the original. I tried my best through Zelda 2, and of course, I fell in love with Link to the Past. And I've played many of the others since on Game Boy and whatnot, and Ocarina, and a couple of those in the middle generations. But I was always more a Final Fantasy kid than I was Zelda. So, my thoughts on Tears of the Kingdom. My main complaint, having seen so much of Breath of the Wild, was that the world seemed it was large-ish, but it seemed somewhat empty. That concern with Tears of the Kingdom does no longer exist. There's activity, there's towns, and there's more life in Tears of the Kingdom comparatively to Breath of the Wild, and the world is expansive and huge, and even though on my own personal adventures I've only begun to scratch the surface of it, as both a long-time consumer of content, just seeing the various highlights and a few things spoiled, but mostly it was just looking at the world and the way people interacted with the world and the way I interacted with the gameplay myself and the machines and things that you can build. There's so much depth there that I was surprised. I did not expect it to be as absorbed into the game as I have become. Obviously, with any Zelda game, the music is fantastic. There's a wealth of characters that you can meet and interact with, and combat is for the most part smooth. The weapon decay thing and having to pick up weapons and weapon fusions make for interesting combos. But there's also those moments where you're in the middle of a fight, your weapon breaks, and you're scrambling to equip a new one. That adds necessary tension. It's not just whack, whack, kill a thing, there we go, move along. You have to, strategize a bit on when you're going to time your attacks or preparing for when weapons break and how you disengage to re-equip and go at it again. The art style and the world itself is amazing. I can't deny that. Breath of the Wild, the world was interesting as an environment, but there seemed to be lacking with Tears of the Kingdom. There's much more just lived in quality to that world. Hyrule is expansive. There's, of course, things going wrong and giant ripped up castle and things in the sky and, wildlife abounds and horses here and people there and monsters there. There's just a texture to Tears of the Kingdom that I don't think Breath of the Wild had. So, I try to keep my reviews, as you know, without spoilers and things, and obviously with a proper background when I do these, but I have to say, I have fallen in love with Tears of the Kingdom. It's unexpected for me. I did not anticipate that I would, but there's so much more game to explore, and it's taken me longer than I expected to even dive through the parts that I've been in, both on my online play and my offline play, that I can't wait to get through the game and really experience the story and all the things there are to be had. And by now, I know many of you have already picked it up, but if you haven't and you're still sitting on the fence, from a on again, off again Legend of Zelda player, Tears of the Kingdom I think is a must buy. I I surprised myself with how much have fallen in love with this game, and I think you will too. So it's there's no wonder it's a Game of the Year candidate. I was skeptical given the success of other titles, but having dipped my feet into the world and the building and the combat and just the essence of Legend of Zelda getting reborn again in this expansive open world, I can't recommend it more. And I would not be unhappy if it won Game of the Year. It's definitely a contender. So, do yourself a favor, and if you haven't played it yet, you probably should.